There is a $50,000 mistake hiding in your life right now, and the reason you cannot see it is that it never once felt like a mistake. It did not arrive as a single bad decision you could point to and regret. It arrived as dozens of small, sensible, completely affordable choices, each one too tiny to worry about. A subscription here, a coffee there, a delivery order because you were tired. None of them felt like the thing that would quietly cost you a fortune, and that is exactly why they did. So let me show you the real math of the affordable life. Here is the trap stated plainly. The purchases that actually damage your wealth are almost never the big ones. The big ones, the car, the house, the vacation, you agonize over. You research them, you sleep on them, you feel the weight of the number. The dangerous purchases are the small ones because the word affordable switches off the part of your brain that does the math. $5, $12 a month, $20 for the convenience. Each one is so small that questioning it feels almost silly. So you never question it. And because you never question it, it never stops. The damage is not in the size of any single purchase. It is in the fact that you stopped counting. Let us start with the most invisible leak of all, the one almost nobody sees clearly. Subscriptions. When researchers ask people to estimate what they spend on subscriptions every month, the average guess is around $111. Then they sit those same people down and add up what they actually pay. The real number averages around $273 a month. People underestimate their own subscription spending by almost 150%. They are off by more than double on their own money leaving their own account every single month. That gap alone, the part you are not even aware of, costs the average household over $3,000 a year. And it gets quieter and more dangerous because these costs creep. A streaming service raises its price by $2. Another adds $1.50. None of it is enough to make you cancel or even notice. But across a stack of subscriptions, those tiny increases quietly push a household $15 to $30 higher every month, and you never made a decision to spend more. The price simply rose around you while you were not looking. You are not subscribing to these services anymore. You are being quietly billed by them, on autopilot, for things you may have used once and forgotten. Now add the daily affordable habit, the one that feels like a small joy. The coffee. The average American spends around $15 a week on coffee, which is about $1,100 a year. And look, I am not here to tell you to never buy coffee. If a $5 coffee is the best part of your morning, keep it. But you have to actually see the number. $1,100 a year for one habit is not nothing. It is a real line item that you have simply never written down. Because each individual cup was, of course, affordable. Then there is the most expensive convenience of the modern era: food delivery. Here is what actually happens when you tap that button. A meal that costs $40 in the restaurant arrives at your door costing closer to $76. The menu prices are marked up. Then there is a delivery fee, a service fee, taxes on the inflated total, and a tip. By the time it is all stacked together, you are paying a 74% premium for the privilege of not standing up. Do that twice a week, and the markup alone, just the extra over what the food costs, is the size of a car payment. Not the food, just the convenience tax on top of it. So let me add up the affordable life, honestly, the way you never do in the moment. The subscriptions you underestimate, the coffee you do not count, the delivery premium you do not see. Put them together, and a very ordinary person is quietly spending somewhere around $400 a month on things that deliver almost no lasting happiness, things they would not even miss if they vanished. $400 a month. That is the affordable life. And here is where it stops being a budgeting lecture and becomes the $50,000 mistake. $400 a month spent on these small invisible leaks is $48,000 over 10 years. Just gone, in increments too small to ever feel. But that is only what you spent. It is not what it cost you. Because if you had taken that same $400 a month and invested it at a normal market return, in 10 years it would have grown to about $73,000. So the true price of the affordable life is not the $48,000 you spent. It is the $73,000 you will never have. That is the $50,000 mistake, and most people make it twice, 3 times across a lifetime, without ever noticing the moment it happened, and stretch the timeline out, because this is the part that should genuinely stop you. That same $400 a month, invested over 25 years instead of 10, becomes about $380,000. Nearly $400,000, the difference between a comfortable retirement and a stressful one, hiding entirely inside choices you considered too small to matter. The affordable life did not feel expensive at any single moment. It only felt expensive at the end, when you added up a lifetime of moments and saw the fortune that quietly walked out the door. Let me make this even more concrete with 2 people, because it is the clearest way to feel how invisible this is. 2 neighbors, same income, same house, same kind of life from the outside. The first treats every small affordable expense as free because each one is. The subscriptions renew, the coffee gets bought, the delivery arrives, and none of it ever rises to the level of a decision. The second neighbor lives an almost identical life, with one difference. They sat down one Sunday, looked at the whole list, cut the half they did not care about, and quietly redirected that money into investments. From the street, you cannot tell these 2 people apart. They wear the same clothes, drive the same cars, seem to enjoy the same things. But 20 years later, one of them is hundreds of thousands of dollars wealthier than the other, and the only difference between them was whether they ever bothered to look at the small stuff. Same income, same lifestyle. One looked, one did not. And notice what that means, because it is strangely hopeful. The second neighbor did not earn more. They did not suffer more. They did not give up a single thing they actually loved. They simply stopped paying for the things they had forgotten they were paying for. The entire gap between the 2 of them, the whole fortune, came not from making more money but from no longer leaking it. That is a lever almost anyone can pull at any income starting this week, and it costs you nothing but one honest afternoon. So here is a question I would genuinely like you to answer in the comments. If you opened your bank statement right now and added up every small recurring charge, every subscription, every little convenience, what do you honestly think the monthly total would be, and how far do you think you would be off? Be honest about the guess before you go look. The size of that gap is the size of your blind spot. Now let me be clear about what this is not, because the wealthy do not win this game by becoming joyless. The answer is not to cancel everything and live on rice and resentment. If a subscription genuinely makes your life better, keep it. If the coffee is a real pleasure, keep it. The point is not deprivation. The point is intention. The wealthy do one simple thing that almost nobody else does. Once, just once, they actually look. They audit the whole quiet list. They cancel the things they do not even remember signing up for. They keep the few that genuinely matter. And then they take the money they recovered and point it somewhere that grows. They do not feel the cuts, because the cuts were things they never valued in the first place. But they absolutely feel the result, because the difference is now compounding in their favor instead of someone else's. And this is the principle that reaches far beyond subscriptions and coffee. The most dangerous expenses in your entire life are not the ones that feel expensive. They are the ones that feel affordable, because affordable is the word that gets you to stop counting. Anything you buy on autopilot, anything that recurs without a decision, anything you have stopped questioning because it is just a few dollars, that is exactly where your wealth is quietly leaking out. The big purchases defend themselves with their own size. It is the small ones, the affordable ones, that need you to watch them, because no one else ever will. So look again at that $50,000 mistake hiding in your affordable life. It was never one thing. It was 1,000 small, reasonable, comfortable choices that you never added up, each one whispering that it was too small to matter, all of them together quietly walking off with your future. The affordable life was the most expensive one you could have chosen, precisely because it never once asked you to notice. The cheap version was never really the dream. A life where your money flows toward the things you actually love and quietly compounds the rest, instead of leaking out through 100 invisible cracks. That was the dream. And that dream has a price tag a lot closer to one honest afternoon with your bank statement than to some painful life of going without. The only thing standing between most people and real wealth was the belief that their problem was the big purchases, when it was always the small ones they refused to count. You never did, and now you know the math. If this changed how you think about one expensive thing you have been telling yourself you can't have, there are a lot more of these, the real math behind the life you actually want. Subscribe, and let's keep decoding it together.